It's 1930 on the 23rd of September 2025. In the South China Sea, the ocean suddenly breaks. The massive USS Ohio, a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine loaded with up to 154 Tomahawk missiles, rises to the surface without warning. Its appearance shocks the quiet waters near Subic Bay, just miles from vital shipping lanes. On the horizon, radar picks up movement. Chinese carrier CNS Fujian and her escorts are already maneuvering to respond. Alarms echo through the steel corridors. Sailors sprint to stations, securing hatches and powering defense systems. Above, a U.S.-paid Ampere's patrol plane circles, feeding targeting data down in real time. The tension is electric. Radios crackle with urgent orders as destroyers nearby shift formation. Every crew member knows, this is not a drill. The world's two most powerful navies are staring each other down, weapons primed, one wrong signal away from unleashing fire across the South China Sea. The South China Sea is more than water. Every day, tankers and cargo ships cut through these lanes, carrying fuel, electronics, and food that keep daily life running in Asia and across the Pacific. Tonight, they pass near Subic Bay, a critical port in the Philippines where U.S. forces rotate. The USS Ohio surfaces here not by accident, but as a message: America is present, armed, and ready. Across the horizon, the CNS Fujian, China's newest aircraft carrier with advanced catapult launch systems, answers that message with her own show of force. Her deck crews rush to prep fighters, while escorts tighten the screen around her. Beijing sees this ocean as its backyard. Washington insists it remains open water. Every maneuver, every radar ping, every engine rumble becomes part of a silent argument that could turn violent in seconds. For the sailors on both sides, the stakes are simple: deterrence or disaster. A wrong calculation here does not just endanger one submarine or one carrier, it threatens trade, credibility, and the fragile balance of power. If this line fails, shipping slows, insurance skyrockets, and allies start to doubt America's word. And if shots are fired, the fallout won't stop at sea. It will ripple into boardrooms, markets, and homes. That is why tonight's confrontation matters. Two flags, two doctrines, two futures colliding in contested waters. One side believes strength secures peace. The other believes presence is provocation. And the crew of the USS Ohio sits right on that fault line. Engines humming, missile hatches sealed but ready. So here's the question. In this standoff, whose move do you think holds the upper hand? If you believe America's show of force sends the stronger signal, press 1" the comments. If you think China's carrier presence pushes back harder, press 9. 1945, the 23rd of September 2025. The standoff tilts from theater to test. Far off the bow, the Pate Amperes reports hot launches from CNS Fujian fighters clawing into the night, exhaust plumes streaking orange across black water. On the surface, USS Ohio remains exposed, a steel giant that is built to hide. Two U.S. destroyers slide wider, bows cutting a silver V as they form a moving shield. Contacts inbound, bearing 210. The order snaps out. A destroyer fires standard missiles, first clean arcs rising, seekers hunting hot metal. It is a measured punch, meant to push the line back and buy space, not to start a war. Seconds later, chaff and flares burst from launchers, drifting clouds that scramble returns. Overhead, the patrol plane feeds a torrent of tracks into the network. Philippine coastal radar joins, filling seams the ships can't see. The picture sharpens. Altitude, speed, vector. The Chinese fighters probe the edge of the bubble, noses dipping, radars blinking on and off. The rules of engagement ride every headset. No first strike, no hard lock unless threatened. New signatures skim in drones from Chinese escorts, running a meter above the waves. Small, fast, unstable on radar. They fan out to split attention. The nearer destroyer answers with naval gunbursts. Red tracers raking the dark, water leaps in white pillars where rounds hit. Two drones cartwheel, burning. Three more slip through the spray. On USS Ohio, sailors brace on the wind-swept deck. Below, the boat floods two tubes for readiness, then stops at green. Hatches stay shut. The captain wants options, not escalation. He calls for a turn 5 degrees to port to narrow angles and thin the ship's profile to sea-skimming threats. Tiny moves matter. Geometry can save lives. Electronic war thickens. Decoys toss false echoes. Drones spit spoofers, and the horizon crawls with phantom pips. Far west, storm cells stack like walls. Lightning forks bend ranges and mask blips. The battle space becomes a maze where seconds rule and nerves decide. No decisive shot yet. But the opening blows are landed. Missiles spent. Guns hot. Drones falling. Tempers held. This is more than a show of flags now. It's a live-fire balance on a wet knife edge, and the first mistakes are already etching themselves into the night. 25. The 23rd of September 2025. Pressure climbs fast. Several Chinese drones slip past the outer screen and buzz dangerously close to U.S. hulls. Alarms hammer across destroyers as crews recalibrate fire control. Flares smear the sky. Hard turns churn the sea. The clash is no longer distant, it presses in, shaking steel and nerves. One drone dives, rips the wake beside a U.S. bow, and detonates. The blast throws spray high. The ship shudders but holds. Damage teams race, dog hatches, kill sparks. On the bridge, the commander stays level. Hold the line, shift to intercept. Close seams, move guns. One misread bearing, and the next splash hits steel. USS Ohio swings 5 degrees to port, slimming its silhouette to sea skimmers. For a submarine on the surface, every second is exposure. Below, watchstanders flood 2 tubes for readiness. Then hold. Hatches stay shut. Sonar hunts for low rumbles, any hint of a shadowed trail. None yet, but each minute invites risk. Overhead, Chinese fighters wheel and drop decoys that fog the picture. U.S. radars sweep, lose tracks, reacquire. One destroyer surges forward, gun stitching patterns. The second layers missiles behind it, forming a shield for the submarine. Philippine sensors add tracks, filling blind spots. Then another rush, a fresh wave of drones, smaller and faster, darting in swarms. The destroyers answer with gunbursts and airbursts. Orange flares ignite. Some drones tumble burning, others keep charging. Each near miss hammers the deck. Salt spray lashes watchstanders. Helmets thud as the ship slams through its own wake. Every sailor knows the stakes. If the shield cracks, USS Ohio faces direct strike consequences far beyond this sea. For Beijing, forcing the boat to withdraw would be a headline win. For Washington, holding proves presence still deters. 2 doctrines collide in black water. Inches short of open war, the confrontation hardens. Smoke in the air, static on nets, choices piling up. Radar screens flicker, headsets hiss. Nerves stay taut. Who blinks first, the U.S. point? Guarding its exposed giant, or China pressing the attack? If you think America holds the line, press 1. If you think China has momentum, press 9 and subscribe for the next escalation. 2025, the 23rd of September 2025. Just as the U.S. fleet steadies its defense, new alarms cut through the night. Not aircraft, not drones. The radar picture shifts to something sharper, faster. Hugging the waves, sea-skimming missiles launched from a hidden Chinese frigate. The fight has escalated. Radars lock on the low streaks. The commander reacts instantly. Engage! Engage! Launch cells bang open. ESSM interceptors roar skyward, twisting toward the threat. White arcs cross the dark. Explosions flare over the sea. One target shatters, another slips past. Seconds stretch like hours as crews brace for impact. The USS Ohio, exposed on the surface, now sits at the center of danger. For a submarine designed to vanish, it is the worst place imaginable. The captain orders sharp turns, flanking with destroyers to force tighter angles. Engines strain, water shears off the bow. Sailors grip rails as spray smashes the deck. Above, U.S. fighters streak across the sky, tangling with Chinese aircraft, but every eye turns back to the horizon. The sea skimmers are priority. Guns elevate, barrels glowing as they hammer bursts. CIWS turrets spin, spitting rivers of tracers. Sparks meet streaks. Shockwaves roll across the sea as warheads detonate short. Yet more missiles rush in, smaller, faster, harder to track. The defenders strain under pressure, every system firing, every sailor locked on task. The line is holding, but only just. A single miss could cripple the submarine and silence its arsenal beneath the waves. This is the twist. The battle has shifted from signaling to survival. Every second carries the weight of consequence. The ocean burns with fire, and the outcome hangs by a thread of steel and nerve. 2040, the 23rd of September 2025, the final wave closes in. Chinese sea-skimming missiles streak low over the waves, fast and deadly. Every radar screen glows red. Every alarm screams. The US crews know this is the moment. Hold the shield or break under the storm. A destroyer launches another salvo of ESSM, arcs of fire tearing upward. Several intercepts connect, bright flashes ripple across the horizon, but two missiles break through. Too close, too fast. The guns elevate, barrels glowing white-hot, hurling steel into the night. The USS Ohio heaves in the dark sea, riding heavy swells. On her deck, sailors crouch low as the CIWS spins alive, spitting thousands of rounds per minute. Tracer streams carve glowing lines, cutting the sky into fragments. One missile erupts in midair, the explosion showering the waterline with sparks. Another keeps coming. Seconds stretch thin. The incoming warhead is only miles out. The destroyer to port shifts course hard, exposing its side to bring another CIWS battery to bear. The gun thunders, tracers stitching the night. A final burst connects. Fireball. Debris splashes into the sea, waves surging over the bow. The threat is gone, but the fight is not silent. Overhead, US and Chinese fighters claw at each other in tight spirals, afterburners cutting neon scars across the clouds. Below, both fleets maneuver violently, commanders testing nerve and steel. The air tastes of salt, smoke, and cordite. Every sailor knows they just survived a knife-edge gamble. On the Ohio, the captain steadies his crew. We hold, we endure. The submarine, though scarred by spray and stress, remains intact. Her 154 missiles still sealed within. The Chinese fleet holds back, its message sent, but the US response louder. We will not yield. The horizon clears slowly, lit by the last fading embers. Both sides now pause, watching, calculating what comes next. The sea is quiet again, but the silence feels sharper than the noise. So here's the moment for you. Did the US show unstoppable resolve, or did China prove it can push America to the edge? Comment 1 if you think Washington held firm, or 9 if Beijing forced the harder blow, and subscribe so you don't miss the next escalation. 2110, the 23rd of September 2025. The horizon is quiet now, the echoes of battle fading into heavy seas. Both fleets hold their positions, lights dimmed, radars sweeping in silence. The USS Ohio still floats, battered by spray but undamaged, its missile tubes unopened. The message is clear. America surfaced its most dangerous submarine in contested waters and survived the gauntlet. For the US, this night is a statement. Defensive systems worked, discipline held, and the world saw a show of resolve. But the cost is visible, too expensive. Interceptors spent against cheap drones, crews stretched to exhaustion, tension ratcheted higher. Each exchange proves the enemy adapts, using swarms and decoys to force costly responses. For China, the confrontation is also a message. The CNS Fujian launched waves of aircraft, drones, and missiles, pressing close enough to force the US into a full defensive sprint. Even without sinking a ship, Beijing demonstrated reach, coordination, and the ability to push America's strongest assets into the open. That image will be broadcast, replayed, and studied across the Pacific. Allies watch carefully. In Manila, Tokyo, and Canberra, leaders note that the US stood firm, but also that the margin was thin. Insurance rates will rise, shipping will divert, and questions will echo in boardrooms and parliaments. How long can deterrence hold before deterrence fails? Tonight, the sea remains open, but the balance feels shakier than ever. Both sides walk away claiming success, yet neither can afford the losses that would come with the next step. The silence on the horizon is temporary. The next confrontation could bring more waves, more missiles, and fewer limits. So tell us what you think. Was tonight proof that America still holds the line, or proof that China can force even the strongest fleet onto defense? Comment 1 if you believe Washington showed dominance, or 9 if you think Beijing's pressure reshaped the fight, and subscribe to follow what happens when the next strike comes harder and faster.